This has so many fundamental foundational keys to a lot of the tools. Over and over again, I tell you, it's the emotions that wire the brain. The emotions wire the hard drive. So if you experience a lot of negative emotions, it's going to wire the brain that way. If you experience a lot of positive, it wires the brain that way. So the question becomes, can I do this at my will? And in a negative time, can I wire this to positive? And other negative times, can I just allow this to be, and not judge it, just experience it, knowing that any point in time that I want to turn it to positive, that I can. And then we're going to take positive, and we've got to make it even bigger. And then the quantum glass allows us to do that. So let's look at the exercise, and then we'll come back. Again, this follows the formula that's on your client video page. It's video 9. No. Why does it say video 9? That should say video 2. It's video 2. We'll have to get that fixed there, Master Brian, on your page. And what I want you to do, and we're not necessarily going to do the exercise now. I'm going to tell you about the exercise. But if you want to actually experience this, write us and tell us you want an audio track. We'll send you an audio track of me conducting this. But when you think about it, you can even look at these notes, take your notes, write notes, and have someone in your life do this, and then you can do it for them. It's great practice. And as always in the Inevitable You system, we work very, very hard on how we can teach these skills. So if you take a medium, and the reason why it's got to be medium, in a moment, we're going to make it a little bit more intense. So I say on a scale of 1 to 10, pick a 5, pick a 6, nothing bigger than that. I want it to be a conflict with one person. I said 6 or 7 there. I'll let you go up to 7. Conflict, and I want it to be a very specific, real memory. It is not imagined. It's not made up. It's not, hey, I always fight with this coworker, so I want this to be a very specific, meaningful exercise. Now, what happens is I ask you to take a deep breath, really clear things out, close your eyes, and, the command is see what you saw then, see what you saw then, hear what you heard then, hear what you heard then, feel what you felt then. And the command is just as intensely as you did then. Just as intensely. See what you saw, hear what you heard, feel what you felt, just as intensely as you did then. And I'll have people give a very slight nod when you're at your 6 or 7. Sometimes they're struggling. I'll say, see what you saw then. See their face, see their anger, see their conflict, hear the hurtful words that they hear them pushing your button. Feel the distress, feel the, it's pretty easy to get just as intensely as you did then. I'll then say, now we're going to do something with this memory. We're going to take conscious control of it. In the first phase of the exercise, I tell them, I want you to put it on a big IMAX theater screen. See it greater, bigger, more giant. There's their face. And you're using all the modalities. So you crispen up the color. See their hurt. It's orange or red or browner than it was because it's on this giant IMAX. Hear their voice, the bitterness in their voice, the hurt in their voice is greater. It's louder. It's almost that big THX, they do before a movie. The whole bass is vibrating the whole theater. They're telling you how dumb you are, what you thought is so stupid. And as a consequence of doing this a little bit on this big screen, on this big screen, you're going to see what you saw then, hear what you heard, feel more intensely than you did then. And I'll lock the memory in. And then I'll say, while remaining in this state, seeing more intensely, hearing more intensely, just for another second, put a number of 1 to 10 on it, and open your eyes, take a deep breath, shake your body out, and come back to me. Now, I'll ask people how many had the number go up. This is going to be the vast bulk. Let's say 80% will do that. How many of it the number didn't change, and that's a small number. And then actually there'll be some people that the number went down. Almost always I'll have someone in an audience, you know, did it go down for you? They'll raise their hand. I'll say, okay, you know, for now we're going to leave that just as it is. We'll come back to you guys, and now we're going to go back for the second part. It's a little bit shorter, a little more enjoyable. You know, go back even because you went in, it was more intense, it was an 8, it came back to a 7, it's not a 5 or 6, it doesn't matter. Go back, take a deep breath, go back, and I repeat the process all over again. See what you saw, feel what you felt, hear what you heard just as intensely as you did then. Now, it might actually still have some remnants of more intensely, but I'm going to take them through the same process. Their shirt's not as bright, their voice is not as loud. It's as loud as it was then. Their shirt is just the same color as it was then. It's all to get you back to just as intense. Now, nod your head when you're there. They give me a little bit of nod. I go, now let's do something fun with this. Let's take it, instead of a big IMAX theater, I want to put it in this little black and white TV. And I kind of go through, and maybe I'm revealing my age here, but, you know, everybody in my day, you know, kind of had a little tiny kitchen TV. You know, it only had its little 3 black and white channels, is over in the corner. And now what the commands are that see the person, they are just as angry, but now you can't hear them as well. You can't see them as well. And as a consequence, you're going to feel them less intensely than you did then. And I'll go through the same series of command. There they are. They're still riled up. There's their hurtful word. Wait, can't hear them. What are they saying? Oh, it just doesn't feel as intense. Then I do 2 other fun things with this. The first thing is I put Bugs Bunny's ears on them. I'll say, pick your favorite cartoon. Mine is Bugs Bunny. Put these big floppy ears on them. You know, there they are. You know, there they are. They're still mad. They're still angry. But, you know, you have Bugs Bunny's on. Now hear their voice that way. Hey, you, what's up? I'm really mad at you. And people actually start to smile. And I said, look, it's kind of funny, but they're interrupting us. Now, an interesting little side note, as I've done this over the years, I have to put a very long extension cord on the TV. Because people would say, well, how does it go, you know, out the door, down the driveway, and across the street, and I want you to set the TV up in your neighbor's front yard. And now come back and look at it from your front picture window. There they are, yammering away. They are, remember, they are just, but now what are we? You know, now here, what is, scale of 1 to 10, 100% of people it drops. I never, that's not to say that that will always happen. I've never had anybody come back and say, oh, it went up. You know, it always goes down. People like to have fun with this. And here's the peculiar nature of all the positive work that we talk about, whether it's towards and away, whether it's inside out, whether it's matching versus mismatching. All of these positive programs, they leave permanent markers in programs. Meaning, if you ever come back to this specific argument, and you may have other arguments with this person. Some people pick their spouse, some people pick somebody from their business, some people pick, you know, an argument they had with a clerk. Maybe you'll never see the clerk, but when you come back to the specific argument, it will always be the 1 or 2, not the 6 or 7 that you had in it. Then I'll go back and explain these people, because this is important to know why. 80% follow the norm because they follow the instructions. The 10%, they're kinda playing along, so they're kinda doing it, but the fact of the matter is, right, wrong, or indifferent, as they feel this, and they feel the anger go up, they don't want anger, so they don't permit, they don't hear the voice more, they don't put it on the screen, they bring it back down to where it was. They just, hey, look, I know this is an exercise with you, but I have no desire to experience this anger. These are your rebels. These are your defiant ones. You can tell them, you know, to have joy, and they'll almost fight you. And I say almost because when you tell them to have joy down here, they will go create this as a nicer, easier memory. Big point number 1, because now what has happened is you have the ability to take any memory, and by the way, do you think you can do this in real time? And by the way, I'll tell you a little funny story. After I did this with one of the clients, he taught it to his 16-year-old daughter, and that very night, the mom got mad and was yelling at her about something, and she started laughing. And the dad and her kind of looked at each other and broke out laughing. Bugs Bunny, and they pointed at each other. Mom wasn't too happy at that moment because she didn't know. But you can do this in real time too. Any memory now has the emotion that you consciously control. You do it by controlling the modalities. See, feel, hear, and if you ever want to mess with the 2 more powerful, that's just kind of hard in this exercise, taste and smell. Oh my goodness. So for example, if you've ever done my bar marathon, I always put the crunchy cups in the aid station as you run through, the crunchy cups, you know, or I'll say, taste the Gatorade of your choice. You can do anything in this experience in all 5 modalities, and it really, really becomes powerful.